Hello all, welcome to another quick learning. Today we're going back to CodeSignal to work on the Python coding exercises. If you're joining this in the middle of the playlist, I'll go ahead and put a link in the description below so you can start with the first video if you wish. Otherwise I'm going to go ahead and get started. So I'm going to the arcade and I'm going to Python. So we're still in this first section of Meet Python and we're on the last one here, list Beautifier. Alright, so we just have to implement the missing code here at the ellipsis. So let's call a list beautiful if its first element is equal to its last element, or if a list is empty. Given a list A, your task is to chop off its first and its last element until it becomes beautiful. Implement a function that will make the given A beautiful as described and return the resulting list as an answer. Okay, hint. One of the features introduced in Python 3 called extended unpacking could help here. Okay, so what they're doing is they're giving us a list and they want the first and the last element to be the same, and you keep doing that until you find that to be the case. So here's how you obtain the answer. So you start with the original list, then you chop off the first and last item. You check it again, 4 is not equal to 3, so again you chop off the last and first item. So now you've got this, and then you look at 2 and 5 and they're not equal, so you chop off the first and last item again, and finally you have 4, 38 and 4, and the first and last item are the same, so you return that as your list. In this one it's the same thing, 1 and -5 are not the same, so you chop them off, and then you're stuck with 4, which is both the first and last item, so they are equal, and you just return that as the list. Okay, so they've implemented some code already for us. So first they're giving a list item, and they're just copying A. So this is going to create a copy of A and set res equal to it. And then we're doing a while loop. So while the first item, so at index 0, that's going to be, so in this A list it would be 3, and then -1 is the last item in a list, so 2. So you're comparing the first and last item. If they're not equal, we're going to keep looping. And then the question is, what are we doing here? So what we need to do here is chop off the first and last item in the list. So we only have this one line to do it. So what we're going to do is we're going to do A star res and then B, because we have to put the new list into the variable res. And what this does, let's just open up a Python console here. So let me just copy this list and then I'll paste that. Alright, so now we've got that list into A, and for res we're going to copy the list like they did above. Oops. So you can see res is just the list as it was in A. And now we're going to do A comma star res B equal to res. So in A it's going to assign that first item, and in B it's going to assign the last item, and then star res means any number of items, and in this case it's going to be all the items that aren't the first and the last. So at that point we've got A is equal to 3, that first item, B is equal to 2, the last item, and res is going to be the middle part of the list. So you can see after we're done, this has chopped off the first and last item and reassigned to res that middle section. So that's what it does. And then if we run the tests, we'll see that that is correct. Alright. So another thing you could do is you put another letter in here. Let's say C. It would assign the first one to A, second one to C, last one to B, and everything else to res. So it's just the pattern that you put in, and then whichever item you put the star with, it'll give you all the other items. All right, I hope you guys were able to follow along and you join me for future videos. Thank you very much.